6th! Happy birthday, Chibs! Happy birthday, Chibichia! And everybody else who happens to be born today on April 6th! And if you have a birthday today, you share your birthday with the following people. Casey Simpson, best known as Ricky in Nickelodeon's Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn. He turns 19. Kwesi Boake, I'm probably butchering that name, I'm terribly sorry. Known as the original voice of Darwin on The Amazing World of Gumball. And as Gossamer in the Looney Tunes show, he turns 24. Spencer List and his sister Peyton List, who is known as Holly Hills in Diary of the Wimpy Kids movie series. Barbara Gordon in Batman Hush. Emma Ross on Jessie and its crossovers and spin-offs. And Tori Nichols on Cobra Kai. They both turned 25 today.
I like Cobra Kai.
Charlie McDermott, best known as Axel Heck on TV shows The Middle. And Ty on Netflix's Unbelievable. He turns 33. Eliza Coop, best known as Denise Mahoney on Scrubs.
Cool.
Jane Kirkovich Williams on Happy Endings. Hannah Weiland on Quantico. Tiger on Hulu's Future Man. And Rebecca Cunningham on the new DuckTales cartoon.
Future Man was a Seth Rogen production. But do you think for that she made extra when she did Happy Endings?
Yes, they did a spin-off of some sort. I saw there was a second listing for that show. But yeah, she turns 42. Candace Cameron Burr, best known as DJ Tanner on Full and Fuller House, as well as Summer Van Horn on Make It or Break It, and the title role of Aura Tea Garden Mysteries. She turns 47.
Yeah, I always enjoyed her growing up. Her and her brother have a little bit of kookiness to them relating to something in particular, but, so be it. They are entertaining.
Okay. Zach Braff, best known as JD on Scrubs. Andrew Largeman in Garden State. And sadly, Chicken Little in the titular movie and in Kingdom Hearts 2. He turns 48.
Always enjoy Zach Braff. He was also in that Super Bowl commercial with Donald Faison and John Travolta.
That's right. I've definitely seen that. That was this past Super Bowl.
Yeah, they were singing Grease Lightning together.
Yeah, Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning. Next, Paul Rudd, best known as Ant-Man, the MCU, as well as Brian Fantana in the Anchorman movies, Gary Gruberson in the Ghostbusters Afterlife and its upcoming sequel, and is due to play Mondo Gecko in the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. He turns 54.
Yeah, he's the one that likes to slap at a bass. Slap at a bass. No? You didn't watch, As I Love You, Man?
Maybe?
There's that guy from How I Met Your Mother in there.
Yes, the tall one, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
No, I'm confusing him with somebody else.
Next, Michael Rooker, best known as Merle Dixon in The Walking Dead and Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, as well as the titular role of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, his debut role, as well as Savant in The Suicide Squad. He was also in Mallrats, which I just so happen to have here. That's him right there.
And he was also in Super.
He's bald. He's the bald guy there.
Yeah, James Gunn directed Super, and he had a bunch of his friends in there.
He's eating a pretzel.
Yeah.
Very pivotal point in the movie there.
Yeah, I remember a lot of these guys I like watching. Psycho Stick, they went to a convention, and they're like, they wanted to go meet Michael Rooker, and they're like, I know how we could get to meet him faster. And they went to the back of the booth where you're not supposed to go, so they could pop up right behind Michael Rooker. And instead of getting upset and telling him to, get lost or calling security, he's like, what are you doing here, you knuckleheads? Get in line, or something like that. He was so sweet. He had full right to be mad, but he was so sweet.
Well, that was the last of our living celebrities, but we have one more. Merle Haggard.
I love Merle.
Born in 1937 and died in 2016 on his birthday.
Happy birthday! You get to see if there's an afterlife.
He lived to age 79. He was a country music legend. He is best known for Okie from Muskogee and That's the Way Love Goes, and more than 100 number one hits.
Oh my goodness, he's pretty prolific.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he were alive today, he would be 86 years old.
Oh dang, he might still be performing occasionally. Do the odd New Year's Eve show.
Indeed. So that's it for people who share our birthday with you. But next we have moments in history that happened on your birthday.
Great moments in history!
Woo! In 1772, Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia, ends tax on men with beards, enacted by Tsar Peter the Great in 1698.
Yeah, he was salty. He's like, yo, you can't grow a beard.
Yeah.
Only I may have a beard.
I believe that is probably how that went.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sakako would have been in big trouble.
I don't have a beard, do I?
That's a little bit right here.
Then in 1808, John Jacob Astor incorporates the American Fur Company.
Oh, fur is nice when it's still attached to the animals. And every time you say John Jacob, I gotta tell you, my brain just goes...
Jingleheimer Smith?
Yeah, that's my name!
No, it's not. Your name is Azurine. But yeah, I want to say that he was on the Titanic.
Oh,
I have it in my head that John Jacob Astor was a Titanic writer. Then in 1830... Joseph Smith and 5 others officially organized the Church of Jesus of Latter-day Saints in Fayette, New York.
Yes, not too far from here, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it was founded. That is where he makes the claims.
Is that the one where he found the golden plates?
Uh-huh.
I learned about that from South Park.
Oh, yes. Do you know that he had a history of making things up until that point? He was
really? He never made things up again after that, huh?
Yeah. Apparently, after he found the stone tablets, he told
I thought it was
the
golden
truth.
plates.
You know what? I get these all confused.
Then in 1843, William Wordsworth is appointed British Poet Laureate by Queen Victoria. In 1848, Jews of Prussia are granted equality. Sadly, only the Jews of Prussia. Nobody else, evidently. In 1860, Joseph Smith III creates the reorganized Church of Jesus of Latter-day Saints by reorganizing the previous church organized by his father, Joseph Smith Jr.
Yes. Mormons, but they actually nowadays they're trying to rebrand and
again.
Well, yes, and they would like to be known. At least this is what I've heard, that they'd like to be known as LDS, which is apparently how they refer to themselves. Yep. They just shorten it. It's like, yo, we're LDS, and some of them honestly do seem like genuinely good people.
All right, I just think it's kind of interesting that they happen to do that on the anniversary of the founding of their religion.
Might be intentional.
It very much could be, or probably is. Then in 1886, city of Vancouver, British Columbia is incorporated.
Oh, Canada.
Next, in 1889, George Eastman begins selling his Kodak flexible rolled film for the first time.
Yes. I went to one of his old houses.
Really?
Yeah. It was a I can't talk. It was a school field trip. Went to see several historic locations, and one of them was a house where he apparently spent the first few years of his life.
Oh, wow. Well, I definitely know that I used to take pictures with a disposable Kodak camera.
I think I've definitely used one as well. I think I had one of the 110 speed ones. I took the long pictures.
I know my parents definitely used the roll of film kind, but I didn't want to mess it up or anything, so I just used the disposable camera. So it was foolproof,
Yeah.
Didn't you finish? You just bring it to where you get it developed, and you get your photos.
Doesn't make things simpler. I used to use it.
It's kind of wild that there's probably a whole load of generations who have never held a film camera before.
Yeah, you know what? And that's fine. Because, I used Fuji because Fujifilm was cheaper typically, and you would have to wait to get them developed. You could go to 1 hour developing place or go to Walmart and spend extra.
I guess I had not realized that that was a a more expensive thing.
Oh yeah. And then if you were willing to wait, you could get duplicates, and that was nice. But the thing was, like, maybe your picture turned out poorly. You don't know. You couldn't see it beforehand. So I've gotten whole rolls back where there was only a couple of good pictures. And I was like, and then that was early 2000s. I'm like, time to get digital.
Yeah. But we have a good friend who's a big camera collector.
Yes.
They love all the camera stuff.
They can probably tell you a lot more about cameras.
Also, speaking of taking bad photos, I remember the Angry Video Game Nerd brought up how Nintendo Power used to have these little cartoon illustrations of how best to take a picture of your television to send in your record for proving that you got the high score in a game.
Yeah, they would go.
So it's like, yeah,
dealing with glare.
Exactly. Like he would say in the video, it's like, you could try taking a picture and the flash goes off and it ruins the picture, and it just looks like utter garbage. To paraphrase him, and they were like, yeah, here's how you ought to do it. It's like, yeah. Kids back then wouldn't have had any idea how to take a picture, so it's pretty cool of them to, tell them stuff like that. Anyhow, moving along. In 1896, the first modern Summer Olympic Games is opened in Athens, Greece. American athlete James Connolly becomes the first modern Olympic champion when he wins triple jump, which was then 2 hops and a jump, later third in long jump, and second in the high jump.
And he didn't place it all in the shonen jump.
I believe you are correct. In 1900, James Day Jeffries KOs Jack Finnegan in 1 for heavyweight boxing title. Wonder how common that was back then, to win it in the first round. Then in 1906, the world's first animated cartoon is released. Humorous Phases of Funny Faces by J. Stuart Blackton.
Oh, interesting. I did see an old cartoon. There used to be a channel in a college channel that showed old animations. And then, if that is surviving, that might have been what I watched on there. It was a face that would continually morph into other faces. If that's what it is, it was honestly quite fascinating.
I mean, by the title, it sounds like that's probably what that was.
Some of those old animations.
And would explain why a college would be showing it to you if it was the very first animation.
Yeah.
Animated cartoon.
Some of that stuff is very haunting.
Then, in 1909, the first credit union forms the United States.
Oh, yeah, I use a credit union. Cheaper rate?
So do I. Also in 1909, the North Pole is reached by American explorer Robert Peary and Matthew Henson.
Yeah, did you know the North Pole, there's several different kinds. There's a magnetic North Pole, and then the North Pole, the top of the world, it moves around because there's no solid land, so it's not in the same place every time.
I see. Yeah. It is very icy.
Like a wiener.
Okay.
Remember Icy Wiener? That's the person that ordered that pizza.
Crud. 1914, American Radio Relay League organizes for ham radios is founded.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
1924, 4 planes leave Seattle on the first successful around-the-world flight. In 1925, the first film shown on an airplane happens on British Air. Didn't happen to say what film it was, though. I wonder if that's lost to time. Then in 1930, the Hostess Twinkies, invented by bakery executive James Dewar. So I wonder if there's any Twinkies surviving from the original run. If they are all eaten.
Yeah, that's such a really good question. Despite what people say, Twinkies don't really last forever. I've seen an entire batch go moldy.
Really?
And get disgusting before the expiration date. So.
Well, I heard that there was one put in a time capsule. So we'll guess whenever that gets opened, we'll find out if it survives. I mean, in the time capsule, it'll be it'll be sealed off from anything that could potentially get at it. So.
Yeah, except for the bacteria that was sealed in with it.
I mean, assuming they suck the air out of it, I don't know.
Who knows what they
I don't know how they do those things.
Same.
1931, a Connecticut Yankee film based on the novel by Mark Twain and directed by David Butler, starring Will Rogers, is released.
Is that where he goes to the medieval times and hangs out with King Arthur?
I'm not sure if that's the same as the Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
I believe
it might be the same.
I think it might be. I think the King Arthur's Court was added later.
Okay.
It's the subtitle.
1931, also 1931, the first broadcast of Little Orphan Annie on NBC Radio.
Oh, I'll watch that.
Listen to it.
Tomorrow.
It was a radio.
Listen to it tomorrow. I'll watch it on the radio. I'll pull up the radio and stare at it. That's what kids used to do.
They also had decoder rings, didn't they?
Oh.
Drink your Ovaltine. 19
Old things.
Also in 1931, Linus Pauling's seminal chemistry work, The Nature of the Chemical Bond, is published, establishing valence bond theory.
Oh, neat. You know, one of my uncles was a chemist.
Bond.
Ah.
Valence bond.
Oh. Dolph Lundgren was a chemist.
Really?
Yes, he's very wildly smart.
I had no idea.
Yeah?
I just know he's very sweaty. 1938, Teflon is invented by Roy J. Plunkett.
Oh, yes. Teflon helps keep things from sticking to pans, but don't cook on it near birds. Birds, the fumes it gives off when you cook it can be toxic to birds like myself.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, you don't want to keep that near birds.
In 1945, the Battle of Okinawa, giant Japanese battleship Yamato heads to Okinawa with orders to beach herself and be destroyed, defending the island.
Yes, but then it's rebuilt and flies into space.
The space battleship Yamato, yes.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a little bit of that.
In 1947, the first Tony Awards, Arthur Miller, David Wayne, and Patricia Neal win for theatrical achievements. In 1950, John Foster Dulles becomes advisor to the U.S. Secretary of State Atchison. In 1957, New York City ends trolley car service. In 1959, the 31st Academy Awards, Gigi, Susan Hayward, and David Niven win. In 1965, Intelsat 1, Early Bird, the first commercial geosynchronous communication satellite is launched.
I like birds that are early, or just birds in general.
Then in 1968, the 13th Eurovision Song Contest, Maciel for Spain wins singing La 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 in London.
Eurovision, it's such a spectacle. It's a shame we don't get any coverage here in the States.
Really?
Yeah, it is a spectacle.
That's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. 1973, America launches the Pioneer 11, or Pioneer G, probe to study Jupiter and Saturn. Also 1973, Roberto Clemente Day. Pittsburgh Pirates retire his number of 21. And also, Yankee Ron Blomberg becomes the first designated hitter. He walks.
Oh. Yeah, I walk too sometimes.
Then in 1974, the 19th Eurovision Song Contest, ABBA for Sweden wins, singing Waterloo, in Brighton, England.
Something words I don't know. I like ABBA, though.
Also 1974, 200,000 attend rock concert California Jam at the Ontario Motor Speedway in Ontario, California. Lineup includes Earth, Wind & Fire, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Emerson, Lake & Palmer.
Oh, yeah. Some of those wild, like Black Sabbath, they are probably still... some people still know who Black Sabbath is. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's great. They had staying power.
And they also got a stand named after them.
Ozzy just refuses to pass away, and thank goodness.
Earth, Wind & Fire and Black Sabbath both had stands named after them. Next, also in 1974, Yankees' first home game at Shea Stadium, while Yankee Stadium is being renovated, beat the Cleveland Indians 6-1.
Awesome.
And then in 1975, the Rocky Horror Picture Show closes at Belasco Theater in New York City after 45 performances.
Yeah.
1976.
There was no longer time to do the time warp. Again.
Indeed. In 1976, the first quadraphonic movie track, Ladies and Gentlemen, the Rolling Stones. 1977, judge rules the Beatles' 1962 Hamburg album can be released. Not sure why there was a reason why it might not be able to.
Yeah.
But then in 1980, Post-it notes were introduced.
Oh, yes, I had heard that. It stems from a failed attempt to make like a super glue or something.
Wallpaper paste.
Wallpaper paste, my bad.
At least that's how I remember it.
Yeah. It just wasn't strong enough, but hey, it was weak enough to attach paper to itself without getting damaged, so... Yeah.
It is kind of wild to think about, like how that came into existence, and
Yeah, and for me, it's
the
like
fact that I think they're still in use, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're still very much in use.
As much as technology has replaced so many things, people still find a use for sticky notes.
Yeah. I like how they come up with like gift labels and things now. They're trying to diversify. I don't blame them. They've probably been doing that for a while, but yeah, impressive product still.
In 1982, largest crowd ever to see a baseball game in Minnesota at 52,279 people.
Fascinating.
1984, the 11th NASA Space Shuttle mission, 41C Challenger 5, launches. Also, it's the first time 11 people have been in space at the same time.
Interesting.
And then in 1986, soccer ball is juggled nonstop for 14 hours and 14 minutes.
What
So,
if they trade it off, or if it's like a person or a machine?
not sure. I would presume it would at least be a person, if not what you implied. It could be a team of people. But yeah, that is pretty crazy. 1987, the 22nd Academy of Country Music Awards, Hank Williams Jr., Randy Travis, and Reba McEntire win.
Oh yeah.
1991, Argentine soccer star Diego Maradona is suspended for 15 months by the Italian league for testing positive for cocaine use.
Yeah, not good. And that is a long time to be out when you're doing sports. Very long
Now,
time.
is that something that would have helped him in his game?
Depends on how much you use, but yes, potentially.
Okay. I just thought that was such a weird thing. It wasn't like
Can give you a burst
steroids
of
or anything.
energy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is also incredibly bad with side effects, so no one get the...
Yes,
Don't get any ideas.
it's definitely bad.
Yes, it's not good.
Also in 1991, former child actor Adam Rich arrested for breaking into a pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of drug use related stuff happened that day. In 1992, George Harrison performs his final full concert at London's Royal Albert Hall in a benefit for the Transcendental Meditation-based Nature Law political party.
Oh, yes. What's your favorite George Harrison song?
That one.
I know only the one. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you.
Also,
and it's gonna take money.
Also in 1992, Microsoft announced Windows 3.1 upgrade of Windows 3.0.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think there was the major upgrades. I guess it's not that big of a difference, but yeah, Windows 95 just 3 years away.
Wow.
And XP 3 years after that. And then they did this 3-year release schedule, because then, it was a Millennium Edition, then 2000, and then XP. It's crazy.
Huh.
It's crazy time. It was some quantum leaps in Windows releases back then.
All right. Next, let's see. Voting begins on choice of Elvis postage stamps.
Yeah, I remember that. My mom actually bought, when they finally came out, she bought a whole sheet of them.
I definitely remember those as well.
Yeah.
I definitely, I might even still have some of my old stamp collection back home, if I ever can find it. Bit of a weird one here. Supreme Court rules a Nebraska farmer was entrapped by postal agents into buying mail-order child pornography.
That's all I care to know about that story.
So yeah, that was all that would happen in 1992. Then in 1994, Chuck Jones is found guilty of breaking into beauty queen Marla Maple's home. Whoever would have guessed Chuck Jones would do something like that? Certainly not Marla Maple.
Some people get very upset, you know?
Then in 1996, American actor Marlon Brando makes anti-Semitic remarks about Hollywood on Larry King Live, stating, "The Jews control Hollywood." So if you're a fan of South Park, that is where Cartman got that idea.
Yes, and supposedly Marlon Brando liked the company of men. He apparently his wife and the wife of, I cannot remember his name, the black comedian from Superman 3. I would have looked it up on my phone, but I don't have it with me. Gosh, Richard Pryor! Yes, Richard Pryor! Oh my God!
I almost had it myself.
Apparently,
told you to come to you later.
Yeah. Apparently, the wives said that, yeah, they were aware something was going on between the two.
Is that before or after he set his head on fire?
Couldn't tell ya. Probably after.
Anyhow.
You know what? Cool. Cool for them.
Okay.
Wish Marlon Brando was a better person, though.
Yeah, I've definitely heard some things. Also, in 1996, American baseball player Albert Bell shows off his arm by hitting Sports Illustrated photographer Tony Tomsik in the hand prior to a game. So weird. Then in 1999, Benny Andersson and Bjorn Ulvaeus musical Mamma Mia, featuring the songs of ABBA, opens in Prince Edward Theatre in London's West End, transfers twice to other venues, and run interrupted by COVID-19 in March of 2020.
Oh.
So yeah, can you believe that it lasted from 1999 until 2020?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And only stopped because of the pandemic?
Give me a man after midnight.
In 2009, Star Trek film reboot, directed by J.J. Abrams and starring Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, premieres in Austin, Texas. Nothing to add about that movie?
No, Zachary Quinto. He's, was it Scyther?
Siler.
Gosh darn it.
He's also, pretty sure he's gay.
Yeah. And he was in a couple seasons of American Horror Story.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd think I'd have known that one. I don't know.
It's interesting.
But yeah, I really enjoyed his performance as Siler in Heroes. So when he got, we'll have to watch it together sometime. But yeah, when he got cast as Spock in Star Trek reboot, I was really excited. In 2012, U.S. F-18 Hornet crashes into the side of an apartment building in Virginia with no fatalities.
Yeah.
That is so wild that nobody died.
Nobody died, but I'm sure people got injured. And
Yeah.
they were like, boy, that Hornet really stings.
Yeah. Somebody probably did say that. In 2013, the 48th Academy of Country Music Awards, Luke Bryan, Miranda Lambert, and Jason Aldean win. The following year, 2014, the 49th Academy Award Country Music Awards, George Strait, Jason Aldean, and Miranda Lambert win. So yeah, she won 2 years in a row.
Nice.
Also in 2014, WrestleMania 30, or WrestleMania XXX, Mercedes-Benz Superdome, New Orleans, LA, 75,167 in attendance. Daniel Bryan defeats Batista and Randy Orton in triple threat title match.
Yes.
And then in 2016, the first baby born with DNA from 3 parents through mitochondrial transfer in Mexico.
Sure, that's what they want you to think. They were into some crazy stuff. I think it was something more akin to Xavier Renegade Angel.
Okay. I don't remember. I remember there was some really weird stuff in that show, but I'm not sure I remember what happened.
Really weird stuff in that show. It'd be easier to say, I think there was a normal thing once or twice there.
Was there ever?
I want to say no. Oh, you know what? He did play the flute once, and it was actually quite beautiful.
Oh.
He was proficient on this. Character's proficient on the flute, and it is really beautiful music. I'll give you that.
Okay. Then, also in 2016, France passes legislation making it illegal to pay for sex.
Yeah, they have to give it out for free now. I mean, those.
It's kind of wild that it took until 2016 for that to happen. Also in 2016, U.S. primary elections, Wisconsin won by Democrat Bernie Sanders and Republican Ted Cruz. Then in 2017, Chinese President Xi Jinping arrives in Florida for talks with the president at the time.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what's happening to that president at the time right now.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Something definitely is happening to him right now.
Yeah. Very fascinating. If you don't know what's happening, it's okay. You don't have to lift that rock. Just enjoy the solitude.
Yes. In 2019, the first ever Mars quake, a seismic event on planet Mars, is detected by NASA InSight lander.
I never really thought about what earthquakes would be called on other planets. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
They'd be named after the planet. Mars quake, a Venus quake, Jupiter quake. Although Jupiter have quakes, I mean, is there even solid land anywhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the consensus is there isn't. But I don't know. No one's ever been there to confirm. In 2020, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announces state of emergency in 7 prefectures and nearly $1 trillion stimulus package as COVID-19 cases climb. Also in 2020, Nadia, a tiger at the Bronx Zoo in New York City, tests positive for COVID-19, the first known case of human-to-cat transmission. And sadly, the death toll in the U.S. passes 10,000 in 6 weeks, with more than 356,000 Americans infected, and the New York death toll reaches 4,758.
Yeah, I personally know a few people that were infected.
Oh my.
Possibly ourselves at one point. It's better now. I mean, it's been almost a year.
Almost a year?
Yeah, we're coming up on it in about 2 months.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Then in 2021, Jeff Bezos, worth $177 billion, tops Forbes' billionaires list of 2,755 people, including new entry Kim Kardashian.
Gotta keep up with her.
Yeah. Also in that year,
Recording-breaking price. $3.25 million for a comic book. Oh, it's
Action Comics #1 that introduces Superman for the first time, sells at auction.
It should have been record-breaking.
Ah.
But yes. As you know, that Action Comics, I'm sure you all know by this point, or
Superman holding the car over his head.
Yeah, and they were they basically needed paper during the war.
Yep, that is correct.
And a lot of these comics are just like, they're not really viewed as being worth much of anything, so they were just all like given away and burned, and only a handful of copies.
I have heard that one such copy was found having been shoved in a wall, potentially as insulation. Not necessarily as a way to preserve it. Happened to survive being in that wall.
Yeah?
And, yeah.
Yes, I remember one time doing a drywall, we intentionally put a newspaper in there, because they're like, the next person that tears this place up, gonna see what was happening at this time.
Then last year, we have 2020, Hermit's Peak Fire in New Mexico's largest wildfire starts in Mora County as supposedly controlled burn-off by U.S. Forest Service goes on to displace 100 people, burn 341,000 acres and 62 million trees.
That's a lot of trees.
That is a lot of trees. And lastly, scientists claim to have found a dinosaur remains killed on the actual day the giant asteroid struck Earth 66 million years ago, beginning their extinction at Tanis Fossil Site in North Dakota.
You start measuring the Tanis at the Dakota.
So yeah, those are things that all happened on your birthday, Chibichia, and anybody else who was born today on April 6th. And I hope you enjoyed that video.
I enjoyed it.
At the time this video is going live, we'll probably be watching the new Super Mario Brothers movie.
Super Mario! Ah!
So, yeah, we might end up doing a review of it for Super Friday.
Yeah. Maybe.
You okay? So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Yeah. Once again, happy birthday to Chibichia.
Happy birthday, Chibichia.
Bye-bye.